Now let's set the record straight. There's no argument over the choice between peace and war, but there's only one guaranteed way you can have peace, and you can have it in the next second: surrender. Admittedly, there's a risk in any course we follow other than this, but every lesson of history tells us that the greater risk lies in appeasement. And this is the specter our well-meaning liberal friends refuse to face, that their policy of accommodation is appeasement. And it gives no choice between peace and war, only between fight or surrender. If we continue to accommodate, continue to back and retreat, eventually we have to face the final demand, the ultimatum. And what then? When Nikita Khrushchev has told his people he knows what our answer will be. He has told them that we're retreating under the pressure of the Cold War, and someday, when the time comes to deliver the final ultimatum, our surrender will be voluntary, because by that time, we will have been weakened from within spiritually, morally, and economically. He believes this because from our side he's heard voices pleading for peace at any price, or better read than dead, or as one commentator put it, he'd rather live on his knees than die on his feet. And therein lies the road to war, because those voices don't speak for the rest of us. You and I know and do not believe that life is so dear and peace so sweet as to be purchased at the price of chains and slavery. If nothing in life is worth dying for, when did this begin? Just in the face of this enemy? Or should Moses have told the children of Israel to live in slavery under the Pharaohs? Should Christ have refused the cross? Should the patriots at Concord Bridge have thrown down their guns and refused to fire the shot heard round the world? The martyrs of history were not fools. And our honored dead, who gave their lives to stop the advance of the Nazis, didn't die in vain. Where then is the road to peace? Well, it's a simple answer after all. You and I have the courage to say to our enemies, there is a price we will not pay, there is a point beyond which they must not advance. Winston Churchill said the destiny of man is not measured by material compensations. When great forces are on the move in the world, we learn we're spirits, not animals. He said there's something going on in time and space and beyond time and space, which, whether we like it or not, spells duty. You and I have a rendezvous with destiny. We'll preserve for our children this, the last best hope of man on earth, or we'll sentence them to take the last step into 1,000 years of darkness.
We were born to rise. We were born to rise. So what you know about sacrifice when the lights go out? The price you pay when you're digging down. Skin in your teeth and a pain in your back. What you know about hope? What you know about that? Ride it off as criminal, a place to cast a stone. On and on we carry on when one is not enough. We are the ones who are born to rise. We are the ones with the fire inside. I go to war with the brothers I trust, and there ain't no stopping us. There ain't no stopping us. We are the ones who will bring the rain. We are the ones who will break the chain. I go to war with the brothers I trust, and there ain't no stopping us. There ain't no stopping us. What you know about standing up when the odds get stacked? Time stands still, ain't no turning back. When everything you're worth is under attack. What you know about heart? What you know about that? Ride it off as criminal, a place to cast a stone. On and on we carry on when one is not enough. We are the ones who are born to rise. We are the ones with the fire inside. I go to war with the brothers I trust, and there ain't no stopping us. There ain't no stopping us. We are the ones who will bring the rain. We are the ones
And no, there ain't no stopping us. Good, everything's working great there. Let me turn that off. I'm done with that window for the moment. Pardon me a moment, please. I hope everybody's doing all right tonight. I appreciate you showing up. We're running this, of course, as a special broadcast. I am recording this, and I will be posting it for sure on Locals, and I will probably also put it on my BitChute, as well as it being available on Rumble and Pill.net. When I do upload to the other two platforms, I'm going to see where else I can get it posted as well, because this information needs to get out. Anyway, with that said, I also want to mention that once I do start the presentation shortly after the Pledge of Allegiance and National Anthem, that I probably will not be, in fact, I will not be paying a whole lot of attention to the chats, simply because of the fact that I am going to want to get this presentation done. I do have a Q&A session planned at the end, so please feel free to take any notes if you have any. But I'm hoping that what I have laid out will answer most of those questions. And I admit, this is only to give you a really good idea of what's going on with this guy and what he's doing. Anyway, let's go ahead and get into the go to the pledge and national anthem.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming?
have to admit, I need to get a drink of water. I have to admit, this is one of the first times in a while that I've been nervous to run a stream. But this has got to be done. And again, I just want to reiterate, my not interacting with the chat is not intended to be rude. Pardon me, please. There's a lot of material to cover. That said, God bless America. God bless Missouri. Dr. Malone, he once stated not too long ago, if you identify a globalist, make their name known, make their presence known, let people know where they are. Now, I'm not going to give addresses. You're perfectly capable of checking that out for yourself. That's not the direction I'm headed. This is more like one of those Scooby-Doo mysteries, one of those James O'Keefe kind of things, you know, be brave, do something. So who is Rex Sinquefield? Well, we're going to get to that. And I hope that you thoroughly understand enough of what's going on. And we're going to get there. Anyway, welcome to the Missouri Liberty Compass. The intent is to bring clarity and transparency to the Missouri citizens. Also to bring accountability to those who wish to steal our freedoms. That said, I do not support Democrats or Republicans. As a live streamer, I love to call either one out when they are less than America first. Here at home, if you are involved with state politics and you are interfering, oops, I misspelled that, interfering with genuine freedom of Missourians, same thing, we'll put you on blast. So who am I? Well, for those of you who do not know who I am, as you can see, I go by the handle GI Wingnut. I have a live stream called the Shadow Band Squadron. I may not be Missouri born, but I am Missouri raised. Air Force veteran, keyboard warrior, America First patriot. And whether or not the truth is something I like, it's still something I want. Therefore, information junkie and passionate about truth. So there's your appetizer. How about the salad? Meet Rex Sinquefield. And yes, sarcasm is one of the many services I provide for free. He's a man of modest means. Pardon. So, let's start out at the beginning and ask, how did King Rex make his money? That's actually the title of an article that was run by Politico magazine. You see the dateline there, August 2013. I'm sorry, I've really got to clear my throat. Okay, that's better, thank you. Anyway, I read the whole article, but what really matters is what's in the first paragraph and the key quote that's buried like third paragraph down in the article. But Lee Fang writes, Rex Sinquefield amassed a fortune by doing nothing. Well, not exactly. In the 1970s, he pioneered the first index funds, investment vehicles that strictly track a broad portfolio of financial assets, such as the S&P 500, leaving no room for individual error or hunches. There's a hint right there. He did so by capitalizing on a theory, honed by his intellectual mentors at University of Chicago. Now, for some reason, that particular facility pops up quite a bit in the circles that this guy runs in. We're going to get to that as well. Anyway, that such passive investments in the overall market could outperform even the best stock pickers in the country. Huh. Who else do we know that can do that? Anyway, Rex likes to say, private investment managers can't beat markets. Yeah, it's the kind of guy we're dealing with. Now, what is Rex's background? Well, for starters, he was raised in a St. Louis area orphanage, and you'll notice a red arrow there. We're going to revisit that. Founder of Dimensional Fund Advisors. Now, if you want to go out on your own and you want to find out where else Rex has spent his money, check out any FEC filings under Dimensional Fund Advisors. I suggest you do your own research. Don't just take my word for it. In 1981, Chicago, Illinois, is where he founded Dimensional Fund Advisors. And then 31 December 2021, the assets of Dimensional Fund Advisors is valued at, catch that, $697 billion. His first political donation was in 1989. It's in California. We're going to get into some of this, but anyway, he retired in California, or from California, in 2005, returned to Missouri. He has some interesting, he's made some really interesting choices along the way. So please pay attention. All right, and yeah, for simplification, anytime you see that abbreviation, this abbreviation right here, that just means Friends of Rex. I got tired of typing that out all the time, and I remembered when my kids were small, Dickerson Park Zoo had a Friends of the Park program, and they abbreviated it something to that effect. So anyway, so first we're going to look at some of the candidates. I was only able to throw a few of the organizations in just simply for the purpose of time constraints. It gets ugly. It gets real ugly. But you'll anyway, moving on. Now let's get into some of the meat and potatoes. Here's his first candidate, Christopher Cox. Hang on, wait a minute. What's going on? There we go. So, August 1st, 1989. $500 donation to Christopher Cox. He ran as a Republican. As you can see, he was a Reagan White House staffer. You can see his records there. Well, what's actually kind of important to understand is that, let's see, where is it? I have, oh yeah, right here. You can see the cursor right here. He's the 20. Oops. Hang on. Go back. Nope. Previous. There we go. We're not ready for him yet. All right. There we go. If you will look right here, Christopher Cox was the 28th chair of the Securities and Exchange Commission, and then started practicing law after he left the SEC. He worked for international law firms, including Morgan Lewis and Brokius, who served as tax counsel to President Trump and the Trump Organization from 2005 to 2021. There's reasons why I'm pointing that out, and you'll see. Next up, we got Mr. Gray Davis. Now, he got a $1,000 donation in 1990. And he's a Democrat. Well, now hold up. Rex's first pick is a Republican and his second pick is a Democrat? Okay, right there should already be a warning sign. But there's more along the way. Just quick interruption since this is live. Not meaning to ignore anybody, but yeah, trying to run through this. We'll get to questions and answers afterward, and we'll probably open up chat then too. Anyway, Gray Davis, he was the first governor in the United States to sign auto emission laws. He supported assault weapons ban. He did it, is credited with improving California-Mexico relations, but he's also blamed for the electricity crisis that everybody scoffs at so much. You know, that one that was apparently caused by the state budget crisis when the dot-com bubble burst. Yeah. He lost his recall election to Arnold Schwarzenegger. Now he teaches public affairs at UCLA and is an attorney at Loeb & Loeb. We got Ed Royce. Back to the Republicans in 1992 with a $1,000 donation. Now, as I dig deeper into this, I'm going to bring shocking totals. But you're going to, later on, I've got some numbers that are going to absolutely blow your mind as to what he gets into. But yeah, Uniparty, no doubt about that. That's kind of a point that I'm getting across. But anyway, moving right along. It's because of characters like Rex Sinquefield that there's Uniparty so horribly. That'll be explained further into the project. Anyway, Ed Royce was chair of the House Committee on Foreign Affairs and joined a law firm, Brownstein, Hyatt, Farber, Schreck, which happens to be an international law firm. He likes his lawyers. David Davis. Now, this was the first time that I noticed a double donation on a single day, on a single day. As far as first contributions, thus the times two, that does show up more. There's just so much contamination in the system. We'll get there. Here's another candidate to really pay attention to. Ben Nelson. I need a drink before I talk about this guy. Because this is one of those heavyweight players that comes into the picture later. That's why I say you need to keep an eye on this one. Anyway, who is Ben Nelson? Democrat of Nebraska. Now, now Ben himself doesn't necessarily come directly into play, but the governor's office of the state of Nebraska does. And if I remember correctly, let's see. Yeah, he term limited out in 1999. And then served as senator from 2001 to 2013. But like I say, please take a note of Nebraska. The fact that this guy's a Democrat and that he's a friend of Rex. He's yeah. Ernie Fletcher. I don't know how many of you remember this guy. I remember him being talked about quite a bit. He's a Republican from Kentucky. His first donation is $1,000. Served in the state house, looks like one term, and then went to the U.S. House for Kentucky's 6th District for, 99 to 2003, and then in 2003 to 2007 was governor. Now, This name right here. I'm not a big fan of him. Mitch McConnell. Anyway, one of the key points about Mr. Fleischer is that he was encouraged to run for the federal seat for Kentucky for Mitch McConnell. Yeah, that name's going to come up again later. Another, when Fletcher was later governor, he had Mitch McConnell aide Hunter Bates as his lieutenant governor. And we're going to see kindred shit politics like this all the way through this. Paul Ryan. Now, some of these names may surprise you. And yes, this is another one of those 1,000 times 2. But there's going to be a change in these numbers, and I'm going to point out to you where it all happens. Anyway, Paul Ryan was endorsed by Sarah Palin in 2016 against Trump-endorsed Paul Nehlen. We're going to see, if I remember right, I may have left the name out. Anyway, I may get to it, but the Republican that primaried Sarah Palin when she was trying to get reelected as governor of Alaska was a Rex Sinquefield recipient. So we're already starting to see stuff going on here. Let's see. Oh yeah, Paul Ryan was Mitt Romney's running mate. That name's going to come up again later. Now, you know, if work is done right, then it gets credit. Speaker Ryan did rail on FBI Director James Comey for declining to prosecute Hillary over her emails, but nothing became of that either. Bluster. But then again, if you got good money, words are cheap. Anyway, remember that statement. Yeah. Mike Pence is a friend of Rex. In fact, let's see. Going as far back as getting Mike Pence into the U.S. House. Even before he was governor. Well before he was vice president. I don't know if I'm the only one that finds this particular little detail interesting, but keep this one in the front of your mind as we keep rolling along. We got Jim Talent from Missouri. State House from 85 to 93. U.S. House 93 to 2001. While he was in D.C., he was chair of the Small Business Committee. Rex, when he, at a later point, I don't get to pull up the numbers, I don't think, on this particular presentation. Those numbers will be brought up. But the National Federal Small Business Administration, I think it's called. Anyway, Rex, National Small Business Administration or Agency, I forget which, the NSBA. Anyway, Rex is known to give them $1 million at a time later down the road. So, small business advocacy, setting up dominoes to fall. Between, let's see, in 94, Jim Talent was, in 94, between his state and U.S. congressional terms, he was a lobbyist. Now, he was defeated by Claire McCaskill in 2006. And you'll notice I've got Claire here as a friend of Rex. We're going to get to that. I hope you're keeping a genealogy here. If not, it'll be it'll be available for review later. Also, James Talent was a senior advisor to Mitt Romney's 2008 presidential campaign and a member of Romney's 2012 economic policy team during his 2012 U.S. presidential campaign. Remember I said, keep an eye on that name right there, Mitt Romney. Yeah, this next candidate, well, yeah, here we go. Brad Smith. Oh, oh man. I climbed out of this rabbit hole so damn many times. I could do an entire segment just on this guy, but I tried to boil it down as much as I could. So, Brad Smith's a Democrat, and he ran for office, but you see, I don't have him up here for any offices. Although he does get some political experience along the way. But this donation is made in on 30 June of 2004. Now, let's see. After he graduated college, he joined Covington and Burlington, an international law firm. That was in 1986. On one condition. He got his own PC. It ran Microsoft Word 1.0. Now, this is important details. He spent 3 years in D.C., 4 years in London, and became a partner in 1993, at which point he joined Microsoft. In 2002, Brad Smith was named General Counsel of Microsoft, and in 2015, he was named CEO, President, and Chief Legal Counsel for Microsoft. Now, along the way, he was appointed by Bill Clinton to head the FEC, the Federal Elections Commission. And Brad opposed campaign finance limits. Now, this is 2004 era. And this sole event right here is where things take a radical pivot. Now, I threw in some other trivia here to give you a little character about the guy. Like, for example, he co-founded Kinds in Need, or I think that's supposed to be Kids in Need Defense. It's supposed to be Kids in Need Defense, with Angelina Jolie in 2008. Also, Brad Smith is responsible for bringing diversity, or what we prefer to call, in the circles I travel in, wokeness, to Microsoft. He has screamed time and time again for no caps on, again, another typo, how much money can be donated by companies and as he used the Microsoft Super PAC to give Nancy Pelosi $125,000. Oh yeah, his wife Kathy Serace Smith is VP and General Counsel for Seattle biotech company Nanostring Technologies. Now, where have we heard that sort of matchup before? Why? Okay, moving right along. All right, Rex until now has been working out of California. But as I mentioned earlier, 2005, he retired there. In 2006, he moved to Missouri, and here's some of the notable key players. I tried to make some notes along the way to help you out, to keep track of some of this genealogy. Kenny Hulshoff, Republican of Missouri. He was Assistant Attorney General from 89 to 96, and then from 97 to 2009 served in the U.S. House, 9th District. And you'll see that he got his first double donation in 2006 from Rex. So he got $4,200 on that day, 2,100 times 2. He lost his governor race to Attorney General Jay Nixon. And this is, again, in the state of Missouri. Jay Nixon's another character to keep an eye on. And that's in 2008, which is why Kenny Hulshoff ended up leaving politics as far as elected office for Missouri goes. And here's the further truth behind why Kenny ran away and he went into hiding. This is something else that I want you to take note of, because I'm establishing the fact that Rex has a real bad habit of making bad choices. In 2008, things got really ugly for Mr. Hulshoff. In fact, Associated Press investigated his prosecution records as Assistant Attorney General and found 4 cases of abuse of power in the courtroom that overturned 4 death sentences. In 2009, another case surfaced. Allegations withheld key evidence from defense and exaggerated details to the jury. Interesting. Something else to keep an eye on, too. Speaking of character references. Anyway, I couldn't find anything else about Mr. Hulshoff after 2011. He just, poof, disappeared. Okay, now you saw me mention Claire McCaskill as a friend of Rex. And, let's see. She won her race. I forget, I didn't make the note here. Against who she took over for, but I made mention earlier who she lost or who she won against. Again, we got a party flip here. Democrat. And we're talking about a political career that started in 1983 with Missouri House. She was Jackson County prosecutor from 93 to 98. State auditor. That's another office to pay attention to. And in fact, you'll notice that she went from being state auditor after getting a donation from Rex to U.S. Senate. She was ranking member of the Senate Homeland Security, 2017 to 2019. She was defeated by Josh Hawley. Yeah, another name to take note of. We'll get back to that. And then as of February 2019, McCaskill is political analyst for MSNBC and NBC, as well as a visiting fellow at, there it is again, University of Chicago of Politics. Yep, the same university attended in the past by Rex Sinquefield, Barack Obama, and Michael LaVaughn Robinson. I know you guys know that name. If you don't, catch up with me later. I'll inform you. Anyway, at this point, I could just insert a rogues gallery. So we're just gonna look at some of the We got Mitt Romney in 2007. We got Mitch McConnell. We got Fred Thompson Sarah Steelman. Let's see if I think I got a little information about her on. Missouri Republican. Now, see, you'll notice these numbers are starting to climb a little bit as contribution reform is starting to take place. Let's see. She was Missouri 16th District, 99 to 2005. 44th State Treasurer. Hey, there's that office again. 2005 to 2009. And then became Commissioner of the Missouri Office of Administration in 2017. In 2008, Sarah announced that she would seek a second term as state treasurer, but changed her mind when Governor Matt Blunt, son of Roy Blunt, announced later that same day he would not be seeking re-election. So she lost her primary to Kenny Hulshoff. Yeah, there's that name again. Anyway, after she lost that race, Kenny Hulshoff got 194,000 plus votes. She got 176,000 plus votes. Anyway, she went to State University to teach leadership and changing public policy. Hang on, I need to cough again. Might just need to get a drink of water. Oh, yeah, this is where I just started putting some things together, because this started getting kind of lengthy. I got a lot of other stuff I wanted to cover. Like this guy who lost to Jason Kander, who, yes, by the way, Jason Kander got some money from Rex. Anyway, Shane Stroller was named the executive director of the Missouri Republican Party in 2012. Was field representative for U.S. Senators, field representative for U.S. Senators John Ashcroft and Kit Bond, and was legislative assistant for Roy Blunt, chief administrative aide for Secretary of State Matt Blunt. Is anybody noticing the close relations of these individuals? Oh man, I'm really trying to mind my manners here. Now see, I told you things would get kind of crazy around this time. How about we take a look at this state rep? Talibdin Il Amin. $40,000. This was his first big donation that I saw. Now, what's notable about Talibdin is that he took over the 57th district of Missouri, state's representation, after his wife left office. This is in the Kansas City area. And this was, he was elected in 2006, took office in 2007. In 2009, he resigned his seat over bribery allegations. He was going to be considered a likely candidate to replace Jeff Smith, who resigned after admitting to the fact that he had lied to investigators examining election law violations. So, yeah. Got this other Democrat, Mike Talboy. This is only a $500 donation. And really the only reason I even want to bring him up is the fact that, yes, he did two terms in the Missouri House, State House, for the 37th District. He was a lobbyist, and worked as part of a 25-member panel to help St. Louis Mayor Tishara Jones spend the city's $517 million in federal pandemic funds in 2021. Oh, yeah. And from June of 2012 to March 2022, he was the Director of Government Affairs for Burns and McDonnell Engineering. Luann Ridgway, Republican of Missouri. And you can see her political career starts in 1992, but she doesn't get her first contribution from Rex until 2007. But she doesn't, you know, the reason I even bring her up is because she's another one of those $40,000 donations. Even though she didn't really go anywhere except to later become a county commissioner of Clay County. Jason Grill. Oh, I got another typo there. Another Democrat. Got his first donation in 2007. And he did 2 terms in the House for the 32nd District. And he's the only freshman to get a bill handled and passed. And, check this out, he did 2 terms, and he's the only person that got a bill passed under both Governor Matt Blunt and Governor Jay Nixon. Now, what do these 2 guys have in common, Matt Blunt and Jay Nixon? They happen to have a mutual friend with Jason. We're looking at him. We're looking at the guy. We're looking into him. Anyway, when he was elected, he was the youngest state representative in Missouri's history. All right, now, this is the guy that caught my attention. This guy, he was running for Missouri's 8th District for re-election. And he was running against being challenged in the primary by a guy that I interviewed twice. And those interviews are available for replay over on my BitChute. If you go to all my links, the link should be in the description, as I know it is if you're on Rumble. But anyway, because of the fact that I was watching the Eric Greitens race, which we're going to get to some of that stuff as well. Oh, shoot, fire. That reminds me, I missed a slide. Okay, I might have to go back and get, or maybe I didn't. We'll get there. If I missed it, we'll add it in, and I'll add it in later. But anyway, Jason Smith got his first term in office at state level in 2005. Got his first donation in 2007 from Rex. And then stayed with the 150th State District until 2013, moved to the 120th District, and then in 2013, by special election, took over for Joanne Emerson. I forget now why Joanne, friend of Rex Emerson, left office, but anyway, Jason Smith is still in office and is still on the Republican ticket, representing Missouri's 8th District. This was the race that can actually convince me, because while I was watching the returns on Eric Greitens' Eric Schmidt race and Jason Smith and Jacob Turner, I picked up on a pattern. The curves were identical. The ratio never varied in either race. Now, I already knew that Eric Schmidt was in tight with Rex Sinquefield. And I also already had a clue that Rex Sinquefield and Eric Greitens are not buddies. We're going to get to that. But then, when I saw the same ratio coming back on this Jason Smith, Jacob Turner race, I'm like, huh. And so I found Jason Smith being one of Rex's recipients, and I'm like, oh, okay, so there is the key equation that simply explains why the Rex-backed voters were getting 8 votes for every 2 vote their primary opposition was getting. Now, there was a much dirtier campaign run against the Greitens. We're going to get to that. But Jacob Turner, that man, good man. But that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about Rex and how he's screwing Missourians. We'll just put it that way. Now, hang on a moment. Oh yeah, that's right. State legislation from Jason Smith. Feed America by incentivizing Rural Meat Packing Act, or the Fair Meat Packing Act. This bill allows an investment tax credit through 2026 for 25% of the basis of each livestock processing facility property placed in service during the taxable year. The amount of the credit may not exceed $250,000 in any taxable year and is not available to taxpayers whose gross receipts exceed $100 million in a taxable year. The bill defines livestock processing facility as a facility that slaughters livestock, i.e., cattle, sheep, goats, bison, swine, and poultry, for processing into meat and meat products, and participates in a meat and poultry inspection program. The facility must employ an average of fewer than 500 employees and include property used for the intake or storage of livestock, the disposal or management of livestock waste, or the packaging, handling, warehousing, or storage of meat products. The bill also allows a refundable income tax for the startup and organizational expenditures of livestock processing facilities. I know that's a lot, but it's actually really simply explained. And I do believe that we're going to get to that with Eric. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Eric Schmidt. I was right. So, let's back this up a moment. Jason Smith was able to get this legislation moved through with these tax credits for said facilities because of this farmland fallout that Eric Schmidt set up. In 2013, America's largest pork producer, Virginia-based Smithfield Foods, wanted to sell out to a Chinese company. Since 1978, Missouri had a law against foreign agricultural ownership to protect economic anonymity at a time when foreign investment in the U.S. was, quote, creating concerns, end quote. Senate Bill 9, SB 9, which was sponsored by State Senator David Pierce, Republican, in 2013, and handed to the State House by State Representative Casey Guernsey, a Republican, proposed modifying agricultural provisions in Missouri. According to the 2015 report, the bill's sponsor received more than $30,000 in campaign contributions from Smithfield Farms. Governor Jay Nixon, Democrat, vetoed the bill, specifically referencing Guernsey's, quote, 1%, end quote, write-in as cause for concern. And when you are a heavily agricultural state, that is a justifiable cause for concern, in my honest opinion. Anyway, nevertheless, Guernsey led the charge to override the governor's veto, a measure Schmidt voted in favor of. We got this guy, Jared Polis. Yeah. We're talking about the governor of Colorado. The sitting governor of Colorado. Second elected gay governor after Kate Brown of Oregon. And in 2020 became first governor to be engaged to a same-sex partner, and they married in 2021. The only reason I bring that up is because I want to know, did Colorado taxpayers pay for that? And I also thought it was rather interesting that there was this obvious point thrown in to make sure that we know that he was the first Jewish governor of Colorado as well. Anyway, we know the kind of nonsense that's going on in Colorado, and this could be a good part of the reason why. Moving right along. Yeah, this is one we're going to revisit. McCain and McCain for victory. On that July 21st of 2008, John McCain received $74,000, which I did not get to annotate. And then McCain Victory Fund of 2008 also got $74,000. I told you. Rogues Gallery. We got Peter Kinder up with a $1,000 donation, when they may not seem like much. But that donation happened while he was serving, and it helped him keep his position as lieutenant governor of the state of Missouri. In fact, his seat was filled by Mike Parson. Yeah, we're going to get to that. Are you keeping track of the genealogy here, people? Oh yeah, Pat Toomey, Republican of Pennsylvania. One of 7 rhinos to vote to convict President Trump in the second impeachment trial. And by the way, yeah, he's leaving office. I'm trying to keep track of that on the slides as well. Clinton Zweifel. He fell in between Sarah Steelman, who lost to another Rex Sinquefield pick, and is followed by Eric Schmidt, another Rex Sinquefield pick. So we're talking there, 4 generations now that I can show where Rex Sinquefield picks are placed into the Missouri Treasurer's office. And he likes to flip them back and forth. Brian Neves, the only reason I throw him in is because he was Senate Minority Whip. He's obviously a Rex friend of Rex, and he was Majority Whip for the state Senate after Mike Parson. And then we got Roy Blunt. And he gets his first donations in 2009. Yes, the dad of former Governor Matt Blunt. Now, Roy had already been in office, obviously, from the chart here. He was the 33rd Secretary of State. See, another office that we'll find out that Rex is fond of. But anyway, by the time Rex shows on the scene, Roy's already in the past. Rex's money helped Roy stay in the U.S. House for Missouri's 7th District. And I'm sure probably helped him, in fact, I know, helped him get into the U.S. Senate for the state of Missouri in 2011. You'll see. Another rhino leaving office. It's a Rex pick. We're not catching any clues here yet, folks. I'm sorry, my nose itches. 2009, Blaine Luetkemeyer. He's another one that's leaving. He took over for Kenny Hulshoff from Missouri. U.S. House, 3rd District, 2013 to present. Scott Walker, 45th Governor of the state of Wisconsin, 2011 to 2019. Chair of the Republican Governors Association, 2016 to 2017. And he was followed by Tony Evers. Yeah, another Rex pick. And you'll notice, this donation in 2011 is 50 grand. Alright, let's take a look at a couple of groups here. I really tried hard not to run down any rabbit holes, but in 2012, you can see this American Crossroads got $100,000 from Rex. And the only reason that I found this to be of any real particular major interest is the fact that the name of the principal advisor of Crossroads GPS and American Crossroads is Karl Rove. Now, I'm not going to really dive into him. But anybody from Missouri or that's been watching Missouri that has any clue about this story understands that the affidavit that we're going to discuss later that is sworn by Sheena Greitens, Eric's ex-wife. Anyway, Karl Rove. So we go back to 2012 for this connection. They call themselves a conservative super PAC. Well, let's see. Yeah, I put a side note up here. In 2020, American Crossroads, which is considered a conservative super PAC, the number 6 donor was Hillbrook Limited to the tune of $10,000. The only reason I mention this is Hillbrook Limited is in England. Why are PACs accepting foreign money? I'm just asking. Random details here. I just want you to think, though. Yeah, this is where I knew. This is where yeah. So this is the National Republican State Leaders Committee, and Rex actually made 2 donations on 23rd October 2012 to the Texas chapter. As you can see there, each donation is $475,000. This is 2012. Now let's run down that list. Let's see. The number 2 donor for the National Republican State Leaders Committee. Let's see. Number 2, we got Blue Cross Blue Shield. Number 5, Altera Group. We got Reynolds American at number 6. Number 7, Pharmaceutical Research and Manufacturing. Let's see. Number 10, Show Me Institute. That's Rex Sinquefield. Or Rex Sinquefield funded. We got Comcast on there. Oh, number 13, AstraZeneca. Number 14. Oh, number 12, I skipped that, Comcast. Number 14, Oh, I'm sorry, I got the hiccups. Number 14, AT&T. 15, Walmart. Number 18, ETC Capital. Number 20, Koch Industries. Now, by 2020, this particular committee is getting money from U.S. Chamber of Commerce, state government, Marathon Petroleum. No, Dominion Energy is not related to Dominion Voting. Contract Drafting LLC, one of those limited liability corporations, easy to set up and easy to move money through. So we got Chevron, McKinley, Blue Cross Blue Shield, AstraZeneca, British American Tobacco, Pfizer, BNSF, Altera Client Services, Pepperidge LLC, which is not Pepperidge Farms, and Charter Communications. Rather interesting bunch of rabble. And as you can see, it was difficult not to run down a rabbit hole and get lost. Anyway, after just a little bit I saw enough that I figured that was enough to see what's going on there. This next one, I didn't run into I didn't chase a whole lot of money after 2016. What I did chase was results after 2016 in the state of Missouri. But yeah, in 2012 we got Ted Cruz, Chris Koster, who was replaced by Josh Hawley. We got Mike Parson, $25,000. Money's getting bigger. He was sheriff of Polk County. Went to the state house. That's where he caught Rex's attention. Moved to Missouri Senate. Became lieutenant governor under Eric Greitens. Duly elected to serve under Eric Greitens. Eric was run out on allegations that were later dismissed because he was being charged by a DA out of St. Louis. I don't have her name off the top of my head, but the DA in St. Louis that was prosecuting and persecuting Eric Greitens was a George Soros planted DA. So that allowed Mike Parson to become governor, and he still is. This is where we need to go back to Nebraska. This Pete Ricketts, this guy, real thorn in my side, all right? Because if you want to know where he spreads his money around, you're not going to see a whole lot coming out of Pete Ricketts by name. But as you can see here, he's the founder of TD Ameritrade. So, if you want to know where he's putting his money, track where TD Ameritrade is putting their money and which candidates they're funding. And important detail here, he's a co-founder of Show Me Values PAC, which is incredibly important because if you'll notice here, he was elected governor in 2015 and is still the governor of the state of Nebraska. We're going to get to Show Me Values PAC here in a bit, but yeah, with Rex to defeat Eric Greitens in the 2022 Missouri Republican state primary to replace Roy Blunt. So, who are some of the recipients of some of these donations from TD Ameritrade? Well, 2014, we've got New Millennium PAC, which is Democrat. We got John Tester, Democrat. Mark Warner, Democrat. Ron Johnson, Republican. Pat Toomey. Pat Toomey, Republican. He's leaving office, I do believe, if I remember correctly. Bruce Blakeman, Republican. Bart McCleary, also Republican. Sid Dinsdale and Shane Osborne, also Republicans. And then to the Sid Dinsdale for Senate PAC. Not a lot of money. This is where things get interesting. Because in 2016, TD Ameritrade was throwing money at Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton, as well as Scott Walker, somebody who is friends with Rex. The Republican Party of Nebraska, that's when the sitting governor got elected. Donald John Bacon, also in Nebraska. Sensible American Solutions Supporting Everyone. Yeah, there's some other stuff. Mike Crapo? Seriously? And Adrian Smith. So we got a mixed bag of rogues here. See, this is where things get interesting because we've still got more money going to the Republican Party of Nebraska and money going into Josh Hawley's pocket. Now you'll notice the field has turned completely red. But people, history matters. Hillary and Bernie boy. I mean, it may not be a lot of money, but it's still money. We got Eric Schmidt, his very first donation. While he was running for his second term in Missouri Senate was $250,000 from Rex. That was 2014. It's when money starts getting really crazy, really big, really fast. Where did Eric go from there? Well, he became the 46th treasurer of the state of Missouri. And then became Attorney General of the state of Missouri and currently is in 2019. And has won, apparently, that's what the reports tell us, the 2022 primary for the Republican candidacy for our U.S. Senate seat being vacated by a friend of Roy Blunt, or a friend of Rex, Roy Blunt. I don't know if I don't remember if I think I forgot to throw the slide in there. The Show Me Values PAC spent $500,000 more to stop Eric Greitens than was spent to get Eric Schmidt past the polls. A little over $7.5 million, I believe it was, spent to get Eric Schmidt past the primaries. Over $8 million spent to stop Eric Greitens. So yeah, there you go. Hang on, I need to get a drink. Makes no bones about it. Roy Blunt joins Team Sinquefield. That's 2014. That's how he was able to stay in office. Bev Randalls got $1 million for a campaign that she didn't win. She ran for lieutenant governor against Mike Parson in 2016 and didn't win. Couldn't win the primary. got $1 million. But see, Mike Parson also got a lot of money from Rex. And if you'll notice, Bev was Missouri Advisory Council for the U.S. Commissions on Civil Rights and a member of the board of the Missouri Club for Growth. The Missouri Club for Growth is one of Rex Sinquefield's little pet projects that is a state level chapter of Club for Growth, which has had a lot of elitists run through it and has distinct ties to George Soros. I don't know off the top of my head. That was why I had to keep running away from rabbit holes. But I know that individuals at Club for Growth have worked with George Soros on various projects like the Central Park Restoration Project in New York City. I'm just saying. So let's take a look at the 2016 elections. Let's see. William Lacey Clay was the winner, not a Rex pick, not a Rex recipient. Ann Wagner. No, I didn't document her simply for time constraints. But yes, she's on the list. Blaine Luetkemeyer on the list. Vicky Hartzler on the list. Emmanuel Cleaver, I believe she was also on the list. Sam Graves, my representative, not on the list. Billy Long, on the list. Small money, but on the list. And Jason Smith. 2016 presidential race results. As we can see, Missouri went heavily Republican. And if you remember, Mike Pence's promotion was heavily funded by Rex Sinquefield. Rex was promoting Mike Pence, not Donald Trump. U.S. Senate. That race in 2016 was won by Roy Blunt. U.S. House. We just ran through that list. Governor's race. Now this race was won by Eric Greitens, who was running against Kevin Coster, or Chris Coster, one of Rex's boys. And Eric won. Big time. Big time. Had the love of the people. Rex couldn't handle that. So he turns to his buddy Georgie boy and gets one of his prosecutors and some cats over there in the Democrat, and I'm sure some rhinos as well, to drum up some false narrative to pressure Eric Greitens to leave office, which in 2018, which allowed Mike Parson to step in. As you can see here, Mike Parson won the race for the 2016 Lieutenant Governor for Missouri. Josh Hawley became Attorney General in 2016. He went on to U.S. Senate in 2018, defeating Claire McCaskill, another friend of Rex. Let's see, 2018 winners that were Rex people. All the same characters except Sam, who ran as an independent. 2020, we got Donald Trump, Mike Pence. Let's see, why did I cover that one so much? I guess maybe I wanted to make sure to get everything in there. Then again, I was also using multiple sources. Oh yeah, the 2020 race here. I wanted to point out William Lacey Clay being the incumbent. Because he lost his seat. Mike Parson got reelected governor. Mike Kehoe got elected lieutenant governor with Rex Sinquefield money. Eric Schmidt, attorney general. Jay Ashcroft, another Rex friend, Secretary of State. Now 2022 is when this story was released. And it kind of helps explain a lot of that other stuff. After a quiet year, Rex Sinquefield donations start flowing into Missouri again. With the 2022 statewide elections just around the corner, and this is from the Missouri Independent, dated January 5th, 2022. With the 2022 statewide elections just around the corner, Missouri's most prolific political donor is breaking out his checkbook once again. Rex Sinquefield, a retired investor from St. Louis, didn't make a single political contribution in 2021 until December 11th. Since then, he donated $675,000. Most of that comes from two $250,000 checks, one to a political action committee supporting State Treasurer Scott Fitzpatrick's campaign for state auditor, and the other to a PAC supporting Lieutenant Governor Mike Kehoe, who has said he is running for governor in 2024. Not if I got anything to say about it. During the 2020 election cycle, Rex Sinquefield donated $4.6 million to various candidates and committees. The biggest recipients were PACs supporting Governor Mike Parson and Attorney General Eric Schmidt, both of which received $1 million from Sinquefield. Now, I just want to revisit this before we close out. But he was raised in an orphanage, and he invented some new kind of investment fund that makes a lot of people a lot of money because, well, private investment managers can't beat markets. Who can we think of that? Well, the Pelosi's. People like that. But given the environment today being what it is, and I want to try to say that it's nice that Rex donates money, donates continuing support to this Catholic orphanage that he was raised in. It just, given today's environment, it makes me ask questions that I don't know if I want answers to. Anyway, one more drink real quick. I was once told that it makes no difference what you try to do. Everything is already scripted. But I think after what I've shown you, I think you just might agree with me. If you know who the scriptwriters are, then most certainly you can make a difference. Now, I guarantee there is so much more to all this. But that's probably enough for now because, yeah, I was trying to keep it about 90 minutes and we're pretty close to that. So, let me open this up for Q&A. Let me close that out. I minimize that. Let me... Hang on. I gotta close that for a moment. Because I also want to be able to release Scratch in here in just a moment. But I gotta get back over here to where I need to be. Doot. There we go. Yes, allow. That's probably enough for now because... Whoa! Yeah, mute that tab. I don't know if anybody has any questions or not. Like I said, I've been running, watching the chats. Let's see. Yeah, actually, Subpack Vet, on that particular note, I am working on something. Let me go ahead and stop. Now, let me go ahead and leave that recording running. I am looking into something that has my concerns that are connected to that particular topic, Subpack Vet. I'm hoping, hope against hopes, that what I have caught wind of, I'm really hoping that I'm not just jumping to conclusions. I do have somebody that's helping me try to track some things down. Anyway, kill my cam for a second. I don't want to say too hell of a lot about that at the moment. But yeah, 2020 is hindsight. But it's, oh yeah, hang on. Okay, I'll do that. I can do that, Subpack Vet. I'll hold on to it, let it build up. Anyway, yeah, the whole, Motown Cowgirl, it is definitely all a rabbit hole. And the connections are just, it's a freaking mess, as you can see. If there are no specific extra questions, I think I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording, and I may go ahead. Now, I don't know if he's necessarily backed by Klaus Schwab or George Soros, and that was something that I did mean to bring up. I'm glad I didn't stop the recording yet. Hang on just a moment. Hang on a moment. Let me actually show you something. Now that you asked that question. Let's see. I gotta... So, he's got this Rex has this group called the American Legislative Exchange Council, and they grade governors on their performance. And here's the cover of their 2021 article or book. So, yeah, he's connected to the World Economic Forum, and through Rex's connections to Club for Growth, he does have ties with George Soros, because of the fact that Rex Sinquefield is World Economic Forum. That automatically connects him to Klaus Schwab. So, yeah, that, like I said, that was about 100 slides in about 90 minutes. there will be more follow-up on this. Some of the more in-depth connections. But yeah. I see Rex as being one of those constituents that make up what I generally and loosely refer to as the Crown, the modern version of the Crown. And we can all probably remember how our founding fathers felt about the Crown. I'm going to try to keep this PG-13, so I'm not going to put it out there other than F the Crown. They need to just get out of our affairs. But they've been able to get away with it for so long because nobody's been looking. Nobody's been watching. So, I'm going to go ahead and close out this special broadcast. May everybody stay safe until we meet again and beyond. And may God bless America, our patriots, and the salty army everywhere. And yes, Subpack Vet, I will be bringing more. Oh, Alec is a rabbit hole I first ran down a few months ago when I ran across Rex the first time that I became aware of him. And it was because of my campaigning for Eric Greitens. Anyway, as we all know, this is not a this is not going to be a clean fight getting out of this. And I am going to make myself available to take this on the road. So, if there are individuals that have groups that want to hear this out loud and in person, I'm willing to run that risk. But I know I'm putting myself at risk. And given that, I'm just keeping my armor strapped on, strapped tight, because God's got my back. Good night, everyone. I will not be live streaming on Thursday night. I will be back Saturday.
God gave us light, but somebody hit the breaker. Lost in the dark till I met my maker. Fighting for peace while I'm here on God's acres. Love thy neighbor. I don't even hate haters. They say don't be violent in the face of my traitors. We can talk about it later. My savior came in flipping tables. I'm a crusader. My heart is my anchor. The angels are crying and smearing their makeup. You dance with the devil, I march to their cadence. Feeding my kids with the fruits of my labor. I paid all my payments, I'm all out of patience. So save all your statements. You say from your basement, I stand on the pavement and fight for my people against you dictators. Right. Even if I stand alone, I'd rather be losing this battle than winning while fighting for something that I know is wrong. Known all along. I have a purpose. Gotta reach my people. Ain't no common ground on the battlefield that we're standing on. It's a war going on of good and evil. I'm a crusader. Screaming my prayers, I'm hoping that God hear my word and find favor. Speaking my truth and my tongue is a razor that open the wounds, leave the devil disabled. I'm standing in light, so the darkness around me, my heart keep on pounding, the trumpets are sounding, I'm not backing down, and they counting me out, but I just keep on counting.
Hear the cries of the crusaders, show them what we're made of. I put my armor on. Hear the cries of the crusaders, show them what we're made of. God is not giving